I have never had this happen before. My peppers that I planted on March 8th germinated in about 5 days. If you guys watched my seed starting video for my peppers and onions, I told you guys that I just have really bad luck with getting my peppers to germinate quickly. In all of my experience gardening the last 2 years, it's taken about 2 to 3 weeks for me to get my peppers to germinate. But this year, I got them to germinate in most of them 5 days. Some of them were up to like 7 or so, which is really impressive. There are a couple that haven't quite germinated yet that I'm still waiting to see if they will, or if they're just going to have to be reseeded or kind of be duds or what. But I'm going to give you guys a little seedling update on my peppers and tomatoes. We're going to do this before we get started with planting my other things. I need to plant tomatoes still, some herbs. I want to do my tea garden herbs, and I think that's it. So let me show you guys the peppers. Okay, I'm just going to show you guys everything, and then I'll tell you why I think I had better success with it all this year. So as you can see, I have my cover. So these trays come with this plastic cover. I'm going to turn the lights off for a second just so you can see. And I used this while they were germinating as a humidity dome, like a greenhouse effect. I kept it pretty much covered all the way before they popped up into seedlings, and kept them nice and moist and warm. I did have them on the heat mat the entire time and had them covered. Once I started seeing the seedlings pop up a little bit, I kind of kept them like partially covered. I don't want to mess the seedlings up, so I'm trying to be careful with it. Okay, once they started popping up, I kept them kind of partially covered, sort of like this, so that there was a little bit of airflow. I still kept them on the heat mat so that they could still germinate, or the ones that needed to germinate still could and would be warm enough to do so. What are you doing? You trying to get outside? And then once they really popped up, I took the dome off completely. So here we are with the dome off. And it's been, so what is today? March 18th, I think. So it's been 10 days now, and this is what we have for our peppers. You can see my labels in the back there. I have habaneros, serranos, a couple of different varieties of spicy peppers and some bell peppers and things, banana peppers, pepperoncinis. So they've all done wonderful. As you can see, there's still a couple, like here, these habaneros in the back. A couple of the habaneros I'm still waiting for, which is kind of unfortunate because out of anything, I wanted my habaneros to grow the best because I like to make a mango habanero hot sauce that I can up. So I really needed habaneros for those so I don't have to continue to buy them from the store. And I planted 2 whole rows of habaneros. All the other peppers I did mostly 1 row of, but I really, really wanted the habaneros this year. So I'm really hoping that these couple, I think there's 3 that I'm still waiting for them to pop up. This one looks like it's wanting to. Couple left. So I'm really hoping that they all germinate. And so you can see I have my grow light set up here. I'll turn this back on. It's not the best, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of a janky setup. We have to tape the 2 in the middle because otherwise it just like kind of bends in the middle. We have them on these chains here that I can adjust. And so I have them just a couple of inches. It looks like more in the video, but I have them just a couple of inches above the seedlings, just so that your seedlings don't get really tall and leggy. As you can see, some of these are already getting a little tall. So I'll probably drop my lights down just a little bit. So they don't get leggy, but they continue to grow well. The seedlings, the pepper seeds don't need light to germinate, they just need heat. But once they have germinated, now that they're popping up, I have added the lights in, and that has really, really helped. So I did the same last year, but I think I've just been a little more intentional and paid a lot more attention to them this year. And maybe that's why they germinated so quickly. I also got new seeds this year from MI Gardener. So all of these, except for the jalapeno seeds, are new seeds. And from MI Gardener specifically, not from like a department store or like a home improvement store. So maybe that's what's making the difference too, just that they're better quality seeds. I'm not really sure. Let me show you my onions. So same thing with these. I kind of have had them partially covered. I don't really need to have them covered anymore. The only reason I have them covered right now is that I watered them this morning. I kind of sprayed them down a little bit just to moisten them. They were slightly dry. So I covered them back up to kind of keep the humidity and heat in for a little bit and just see how they would do. They have grown so good. Let me take the cover off so you can see well. Okay, so I have a couple different varieties of onions here. These are actually shallots. I have 36 plants of shallots, and they have done really awesome. There's one back here that hasn't germinated, and I don't know if it's going to. Maybe it was just a bad seed or something. The rest of them have done really well. They're all so tall already. These are Texas grano onions, like a yellow variety. So I have 18 plants of those. And then on the end here are the red Weathersfield onion from MI Gardener. And I have 18 of those as well. I think that, yeah, this one here, this is one of the shallots. I'm waiting for that to germinate. And then the one in the back that I showed you, but I think everything else has, it looks like everything else has germinated really well. Yep. So that's awesome. That's almost, I would say, 100% success rate minus those two. I will probably give them just another few days or so. If they haven't germinated yet, I'm not sure that they're going to. I don't even see like the slightest of anything popping up. So they might just have to get thrown out. But this is great. This is a whole 72 seed pellet tray. So 70 out of 72. I'll take that. That's like 98% or something. So that looks great to me. These are looking good. I feel like you guys are probably going to ask me in the comments, what's the difference, or is there a growing difference between the white lights and these like red and blue lights? That's a great question. I really don't know. We had the red and the blue lights to begin with, and I was trying to find more of them on Amazon or whatever, and we could not find any of the same ones. So we ended up ordering these white lights. I don't really like them as well. They just don't seem to be as sturdy. They kind of bend here at the connection sites. But, I mean, they're doing the job, I think, obviously. They look pretty good. Bulb-wise, I think they're, I don't remember how many lumens they are. Let's see, it might say in here. I'm not actually sure. But anyways, same thing for the onions. They didn't need light to germinate, but they did need the heat. So once they did germinate and started popping up, I added the lights in. I have kept them on the heat mat for now, just until everything kind of pops up, everything that's going to pop up pops up. But in a couple of days or so, I'll probably go ahead and remove them from the heat mats. And then I'll use these heat mats for my tomatoes and other things that I'm going to start. But they don't need to be on the heat after they've germinated and grown a little bit. So we'll remove those in a couple of days probably. So there's our seedling update for today. Like I said, it's been 10 days since I seeded these, since I planted the peppers and the onions. So I think this is huge success. This is probably the best germination rate that I've had in the 3 years of gardening so far, especially with these peppers. I'm so impressed that these peppers popped up so quickly, and we still have plenty of time to grow them big and strong before I can put them outside anyways. Really, technically, we're still about 10 weeks out from our last frost date here in Colorado. We just got a major like 16-inch snowstorm last week. So I still have tons and tons of snow out in my backyard, in my garden beds. I need to do some amending and get my garden beds kind of situated and put together where I want to put them. I think I've mentioned to you guys we were changing the garden setup a little bit this year and adding some additional raised beds and modifying some of the raised beds that we already have. So we're still kind of waiting to do that. I need to get soil, really put together a couple of the beds that we haven't finished yet and things like that, but it's like absolutely impossible to do right now with the snow outside. So hopefully that clears up in the next couple of weeks and we can at least get out there and get everything kind of put together. If it snows in April or May, that's fine. I just really want to have the beds like at least, you know, established with soil in them and all of that. We have some cardboard that we're going to do, like no-till raised garden beds that we're going to put on the bottom before I put soil on top. So we need to be able to put that out and soil on top of it so all of that cardboard and stuff can break down. And it's just taken a while to get to that. So we'll get there eventually. But stay tuned. Probably in either the next video or the following one, you'll see that we are planting our tomatoes. I'm going to go ahead and start those. I might even start them today, or I might wait a couple of days up to next week. Like I said, we're still 10 weeks out probably from our last frost date, but I really like to have 2 or 3 weeks where I can harden them off outside before we plant them. So we'll see if we get to that today or if it takes a couple more days to get to. I'm not really in a rush. I can grow tomatoes really, really fast from seed, so I'm not super concerned about that. My biggest priority was these peppers because, like I said, it takes a long time. Usually, in my past experience, it has taken a long time for them to germinate. This time, not so much. So I really wanted to get them going so that if I needed to reseed them and, you know, regrow them from seed, then I would have time to do that. But it doesn't look like I'm going to need to. I might just take my losses on those 2 or 3 habanero plants if they don't grow. I'm not sure that I'll reseed them and try to grow them. And then there's a red cherry tomato here, or sorry, a red cherry pepper here, a bell pepper mixed variety, and those are the only other things that haven't germinated yet and popped up. So that's amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm so, so happy with that. That's like a massive germination success right there, especially compared to my last couple of years. Usually the peppers that I've done the last 2 years have been cayenne, banana pepper, jalapeno pepper, and I tried habaneros last year very unsuccessfully. But honestly, none of my peppers really did great last year, and I did have them in a raised bed with some tomatillo plants, and I think that the tomatillo plants just took all of the nutrients from the peppers, so they just didn't do well once they were put outside. They didn't do great germinating either, so that's why I felt like I needed to get like new seed packets this year, maybe invest in something a little more higher quality. So that's what we did with the My Gardener seeds, and I'm really impressed so far. So let me know in the comments below if you guys have used any of these My Gardener pepper seeds. Let me know your experience with those. Like I said, I'm so happy with them so far. I'm hoping that, you know, they'll continue to grow well and I'll be able to put them outside and they'll thrive out there. So we'll see. But here is the 10-day pepper and onion update. I'll keep updating you guys along the way. But thanks so much for joining today. And I hope you guys enjoyed the bison jerky making as well at the beginning of this video. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have tried to make jerky yourself from scratch. We have made jerky before, but we've just used like sliced meat. We've never done like ground meat and used that jerky can in before. So that was really, really cool, but it turned out so, so good. So I'm really excited that we have that and we're trying not to eat it all at one time. So anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.